Good morning, all of you. So today's we'll start with the fluid dynamics. That one. So again, we have only two equations, like equation of continuity and the Bernoulli's theorem. We'll get plenty of applications. Like what are applications? Like I think you might have seen nowadays the perfume. No, we spray perfume. So it's based on Bernoulli's theorem only. So what where all you see the liquid flowing, it's just based on the fluid dynamics. So the theory is very small, but you do get different types of instruments like a injection. All of you know injection, like a we press no that knob, and the liquid starts coming out. So wide applications in medical field as well as in general everywhere. So nowadays I think with the help of water we are cutting the tools. No, water is used as a cutting tool. If the pressure is something more than around 150 psi, the water will cut the objects. It's a now you can say modern applications are plenty of the fluid dynamics. We'll stick on to the basics, what all related to our syllabus that one. So prior to that, today we'll have all the theoretical ideas. I think from tomorrow onwards, we have to just focus on the numericals. And you look at the advanced paper, no, there's always one question on fluid dynamics, and he's asking very simplified. If you look at the from EDO also, there are good questions. Are there different types of the fluid dynamics one? So like there's some different books when you search, no, you do get a best questions available. Hmm. So today will be theoretical. Tomorrow, what pen will focus on the numerical ideas. Okay, let me share the screen. Okay, we'll start with the streamlined flow and turbulent flow. So till now, what all we discussed here, it was like the, the fluid at rest. Will I agree now? So now, if a fluid is in motion, what are the conditions that will arise that we have to discuss? Again, the moment fluid comes, so what are the assumptions we'll make? So we'll say fluid. So when we say ideal fluid, so we'll do say like a ideal fluid. So what do you mean by ideal fluid? First of all, it should be non-viscous. Okay, fine. It should be non-viscous. Should be incompressible, irrotational, non-viscous, incompressible, irrotational, and no surface tension effect. These are the primary things what will assume that one. Non-viscous means no viscous drag. Incompressible means the density will not change. That one. Irrotation means there won't be any rotation. So when I think water flowing, you can see some sort of like the water start swirling around a point. Am I right? Swirling like this if it is flowing. So somewhere at this particular point it will rotate, no? So such a rotation should not occur. That's what I mean ideal fluid. So in all our discussion, when I say ideal, no, so all this will come into picture. So that's why in the books, so what happened, we just put ideal fluid. So it is understood that all these are is what we are assuming here. So we'll discuss some sort of like a ideal fluid. Then first one called like a streamline flow. So in streamline flow, if you take the various particles, this one, so here we'll put like this. Now, what are these arrows? This will be the direction of motion of the particles. There's the one thing. Next, again, what is the condition for streamline flow? One more important. So there's a point P I picked up, and there are three particles I'll pick up. So there's a particle A, B, C. Then any particle that passes through point B must have a same speed and the direction. Suppose like a velocity at point P should be how much? 10 meter per second. Now when particle C first passes, what's be the velocity of particle when it passes through point P? Must have the velocity 10 meter per second and should have same direction. Then B also. See, here A and B can have different speed, but when they're passing through a point, all the particles that are passing through a point must have same speed and direction. Then that's called like a streamline flow. So all the if the three particles A, B, and C possesses same speed and direction, when they pass through given point, the flow is said to be streamlined. This is one basic condition. Any particle that passes through a point must have a same speed. They can have different speed here, but if they pass through a point, they must have a same speed. There's the meaning of streamlined flow here. Okay, now later we'll define streamline flow by another definition. So time being in fluid dynamics, we'll define. In viscosity, I'll bring another definition here. Now, what do you mean by turbulent? They're moving. The net flow is towards right. But what will happen? Different particles, when they arrive at a point, will have different speed. If the three particles possesses different speed, and direction, when they pass through a given point, the flow is said to be turbulent flow. Okay, so there's one basic definition like this, what we discuss. Now, turbulent flow is not there for syllabus, just have an idea. What all we discuss will be only a streamline flow. Okay, fine. So what all we discuss will be only streamline flow here. Means like if all particles will have same speed, as it's also a streamline flow. So now, if all points, all the particles of the fluid, if they're moving with the same speed and direction, then it is a streamline flow. But there's a primary definition. What it says, any particle passes through point P must have the same speed and direction. Then it's said to be streamline flow. There's a basic method. It can happen that all the particles here, they'll be moving with the same speed and same direction. Then it's streamline flow. So at a given point P, if three particles A and B passes with is needed, no? Yeah. Okay, there's a primary definition of like this, what will identify. So turbulent flow, it's a very difficult, lot of mathematics is involved. So therefore we'll stick on to the streamline flow. What all our discussion will be only for a streamline flow. Okay, fine. No, not axial. They must have, no? They must have same acceleration, definitely. Now we'll come for the different types of energy possessed by that one. So now energy of a fluid. What are the different types of energy? Suppose say like a how you define kinetic energy, mv square by 2. So how to express kinetic energy of a flowing fluid? Next question comes. So if a liquid is flowing, so how to measure its kinetic energy? There's a question mark. Suppose as the liquid is flowing, so if you stop it to measure it, what happen? Definitely you want to stop it. If you stop it, what happened to speed? Will get eliminated. So therefore, so we should bring a mechanism where the liquid will be flowing and what happen? We should able to measure the speed here. So then if a river is flowing, I want to measure the velocity of river. Can we stop the river? Not correct, no, not possible also. So therefore, for a flowing liquid, what happen? Rather than expressing kinetic energy, we'll go for kinetic energy per unit volume. So this should be delta K. So some elemental volume of liquid, I'll take it. Suppose a liquid is flowing with a speed V. It's like a water flowing through a pipe. Then I'll choose some elemental volume. Mass of this is delta M. What is the kinetic energy possessed by this? Delta K. Then what we write is kinetic energy per unit volume. Delta K by unit volume. Delta V should be equal to delta M by delta V. V square by 2. What is the how you define mass by volume? Should be the density. So the kinetic energy per unit volume is given by this formula. So what is this? Joule per cubic meter. So what is this quantity now? Kinetic energy per unit volume. Because see, we can't measure the mass of a liquid. Suppose say water is flowing in a pipe. Can you say how much of mass of water in a pipe? And the pipe is connected from Delhi to Hyderabad. So what you should do in that case, what happens? You should measure the whole mass of the liquid that is there in the pipe from Delhi to Hyderabad. It's very difficult quantity. So therefore, I should eliminate the amount of liquid. So what is the kinetic energy of the flowing liquid? Density square of speed by 2. Kinetic energy per unit volume will express. Similarly, potential energy. Suppose a liquid is there. It is flowing at a height. It is in motion. I'm not saying it is at rest. It is in motion. So I'll assume a small amount of liquid. Then what is the potential energy per unit volume of this liquid? So first, how you define potential energy? Delta U equal to delta M GH. So then potential energy per unit volume. Say small amount of liquid, infinitesimal, delta M, small amount of liquid. It will have some volume. It will have some mass. So that potential energy, gravitational potential energy per unit volume should be equal to delta M by delta V GH. Delta M by this will become rho GH. So what is this? How you define? Potential energy per unit volume. Rho is a density. Though liquid is in motion, we are applying it as possible. I need not to bother. So at what height, the suppose a water pipe, like a water flowing in a pipe will be located at height h. Then what is the potential energy per unit volume? You can define it. Next again, the liquid is liquid will possess energy in another form called like a pressure energy per unit volume. So how come that pressure energy? From where it has come? So if you look at the okay, there's a container. There's a piston. So let me fill up the liquid to a height h. Later on, I'll shade it. Okay, well, one problem, no? Okay, there's a piston. Okay, let me write the ITH. The radius of this will be very small. Okay, now here the liquid will exert a force here. There's a piston. Then because of this, what will happen to the piston? It will get displaced here, no? The piston will get displaced. And if the piston is having mass m, what will happen to piston because of force? The pressure force will act here. So how much of pressure force? P into E. Now, is there any displacement of the piston as it is? And pressure into area will become force. And that force is capable of doing work, no? And if you see the piston, it is having a some speed. This is, I think, very quite common for you. What the water can push an object, no? Water can push object means water will exert a force. So the force exerted by water does work now. So here I'll do right like this. dF is equal to F dx. What is dW? Work done by the liquid on displacing the piston. And what is F? P into E. So what we should call work done by liquid on the piston, or the fluid, better call here. Work done by the fluid on the piston. This is okay. Now, so what is this A into dx? Change in volume, because the volume of liquid will slightly increase. No, there'll be increment in volume. So dW by A dx should be equal to P. So what is work done per unit volume? That should be equal to static pressure at a given point. So what is the liquid? Liquid is having the fluid is having a ability to do work. And what is the pressure energy per unit volume? Should be equal to static pressure. So what we should call this one? Pressure energy per unit volume. So let me ask you a very simple question. What is that? The piston, it was released from rest here. Now it starts moving. Agreed, fine. So it is possessing now kinetic energy. From where this kinetic energy for piston has come? The fluid only should do work. So now the fluid possesses energy, and that energy is what you can call pressure energy per unit volume. So along with the kinetic energy, potential and gravitational potential energy, it is also possesses energy called as pressure energy. And that pressure energy per unit volume, what it is equal to static pressure at that particular point. So therefore, what we can call this one, the pressure energy at a point is equal to static pressure at that point. So altogether, a liquid which is in motion, what all forms it will possess energy. What all forms it will possess energy. Kinetic energy, potential energy, and the pressure energy. And we express per unit volume. And what is pressure energy per unit volume? Equal to static pressure at that particular point. So like this, what will happen? The liquid will exert a force. Okay, let's get into. Okay, fine. So there's the initial description. Energy of a dynamic fluid will write. Say different books, they have just brought this theoretical explanation in different way. I just made it very simplified one. Okay, let's take the next part. Equation of continuity. So what it says like, so let's take a best example. I'll go for next page. Let's take a pipe. Okay, there's a pipe radius. Let me write R1. Here the radius of this is R2. The liquid is flowing. So what we say, the liquid incompressible. Incompressible means what happened? Density remains same, or the volume of the liquid remains same, that one. Incompressible means the density of the fluid remains same. So when the liquid is moving, here it will have a speed V1. When it passes through this point, it will have a speed V2. How come the speed has changed? Who has did work? So these are some questions that we have to ask ourselves. Everything inside, there's the liquid. The liquid is in motion. So what is the speed of the liquid at the broader side end of the pipe? V1. And definitely, and at narrow end, the speed of the liquid is V2. I'll go and check it. What I see that V2 greater than V1. What we notice is V2 greater than V1. We have to give some explanation. So what is that mass of the liquid? So let me assume certain elemental volume of the liquid. Okay, same this elemental volume of liquid, when it arrives here, will become this much. Because the overall volume has to remain same. Because why volume should remain same? Because we assumed it to be incompressible. We assumed it to be incompressible. Yeah, that's the basic idea. So now this is delta x1. This is delta x2. What is the density of liquid at 1? So there's a 0.1. There's a 0.2. Now, what is the density of liquid? As it is incompressible, rho 1 must be equal to rho 2. So the density of liquid will not change as it moves from one point to another point. This is a theoretical imagination, but practically what will happen? The liquid is compressible, the density will change. Now I am making things clear. What is the natural property of liquid? Compressible. But we are making it incompressible so that we can solve problems very easily. As it is incompressible, so therefore, I'll assume it. So we know mass of the liquid should be conserved. M1 should be equal to M2. What amount of liquid at 1 is there? The same amount of liquid should be there at 2. How you define the mass density into volume? Pi R1 square delta X1 rho 2 pi R2 square delta X2. Now look at this. As we made it incompressible, see, mass has to be conserved. There's no other way. Mass has to be conserved. Practically what happened, the liquid is compressible. Then density at 1 and 2 will be different. But we are making it as incompressible. So therefore the density remains same. So therefore this rho 1 is equal to keep it as it is, pi r2 square delta x2. Rho gets eliminated. So pi r1 square. Let this be the area of cross section A1. Area of cross section here, let it be A2 of the pipe. Delta x1. This is delta x2. No, delta x2 this one. So now the liquid will take some time no to cross through that edge. So A1 V1 equal to A2 V2. This is called like a equation of the continuity. Okay, let's see from the data R2 less than R1. Will I agree? If R2 less than R1, then A2 should be less than A1. So therefore, V2 should be greater than V1. So what happened to speed of the liquid? At 0.2, it will be greater than that of speed of liquid at 0.1. This is the basic equation of continuity. Okay, now look at this. What happened the kinetic energy? Kinetic energy at 2 greater than kinetic energy at 1. And what about 1 and 2? They're on same horizontal level. Then energy must be conserved. We know enough of mechanics, no? The mechanical energy must be conserved. The gravitational potential energy of the liquid, just wait, I'll save it. And the gravitational potential of liquid, because 1 and 2 are on same level. So U1 2 equal to U2. 19 points. 0.192 are on same level. So therefore, gravitational potential is same. Kinetic energy got increased, no? How it has increased? Some volume of liquid. Are you seeing the green color? Some volume of liquid. The kinetic energy got increased. Who has increased? Somebody should be there. Yes. Some other energy what should decrease. What is some other energy? The pressure energy. How do we can say pressure at 1? What is the pressure at 1? Rho g R1. Pressure at 2, rho g R2. So we know that R2 less than R1. So P2 less than P1. So therefore, as the liquid moves from 1 to 2, the gravitational potential G per unit volume remains same. Clear this? The pressure energy decreases. The decrease in pressure energy, what happened, will be converted into increase in kinetic energy. But overall energy of the liquid will remain same. So what is the conclusion I'll make it? As the liquid moves from as the liquid moves from point 1 to point 2, the pressure energy decreases and kinetic energy increases. But the total mechanical energy remains constant. Overall mechanical energy remains constant is telling. So overall mechanical energy remains constant is called like a Bernoulli's theorem. From equation of continuity brought. I think this will be very widely we'll be using the equation one which I'll be using everywhere. So next what we say is Bernoulli's theorem. So what Bernoulli's theorem says, the total mechanical energy of the liquid between 2 points remains constant, or the total mechanical of liquid is conserved. That one. Okay, just do make observation. So this is about the, I think your theory got over. If I write Bernoulli's theorem statement, no? So your overall theory of this week's syllabus got over. The next, what all we do is all the next application. What all we do is everything is an application. What will happen to pressure along the length of the tube? What will happen to pressure? Pressure must change, no? That's what it's telling. Okay, let's do one thing. Bernoulli's theorem will put statement so that it will be. I'll put it here only. Bernoulli's theorem, the total mechanical of a of the flowing fluid of the flowing fluid comprising of comprising will make like the comprising the energy associated with the fluid pressure, gravitational potential energy, elevation, and kinetic energy of fluid motion remains constant. Okay, there's a one very important thing. All our numerical just revolves around that equation of continuity and this particular thing, Bernoulli's theorem. So what do you mean by that? So let's go for the meaning. So the same tube, let me take it. No, the liquid. So initially, let me take the same level. So there's a point 1, point 2. So what he's saying is like energy, total mechanical energy, E1 is equal to E2. What about in what all form the fluid can possess energy in a flowing fluid? Pressure energy, gravitational potential energy, kinetic energy, point volume. Similarly, P2 plus U2 plus K2. Overall mechanical energy remains constant. When a fluid flows from point 1 to point 2, the total mechanical energy of a fluid remains constant is telling. So this what we write P1 plus rho GH1 rho V1 square P2. So like this, what will happen? The total mechanical energy of a fluid remains constant as the fluid moves from point 1 to the point 2. Sure, to be frank, your chapter got over. You look at any problem, I'll be using these two equations only. What we needed now, really we need very good observation. Very good observation. That's all. Nothing big is there. So what observation? So now what will happen? The tap. The moment you open tap, you should make observation. How the fluid falls. So as it moves from the mouth of the tap and strike the ground, what will happen to it? Hmm? Then you are using deodorants. No, nowadays I think everyone will use. Hmm? Of course, I will not use. Everyone use. uh, so like it all depends. Some people will be allergic to the some alcohol chemicals, no, so therefore I don't prefer to be that one. So at maximum now it has become a part of life, am I right? Deodorants. So when you press it, what will happen? Some fluid particles will come, no, that's called like a atomizer. It is called as atomizer. That is, so there's a one thing that's called like a sprayer or atomizer. Hmm. Then you'll be taking the pipe and you'll try to wash the floor or car or vehicle something. So there what will happen, as you just try to close it with your fingers, then the fluid will come out with a more speed, no? There's nothing but the Bernoulli's theorem. So like that you'll get plenty of and injection. Different, so plenty of equipments are there surrounding you. Huh? Don't think that, sir, we don't have a lab. If lab were there, I would have studied nicely. Your house itself is a lab. The outside world itself is a lab for physics. Huh? Don't search here and there. You do get, I think nowadays best thing is a why deodorant. Nowadays we are using sanitizer, no, one which will come spray. So that's what based on the fluid dynamics only. So plenty of objects are there, equipments are there around us, which will work on these two equation of continuity, Bernoulli's theorem. Do make observation how it has come. Take paper, pen, draw the diagram. Okay, the liquid moves from year to year. So think on that one. Don't draw exact, just a rough diagram. Then analyze. So this is what observation. Observation means not like just only looking. No, you should able to draw the diagram, write some equations at various points, express the phenomena mathematically. This is what you are supposed to do. Okay, now similarly, if the pipe is oriented like this, this is one thing, Bernoulli's theorem. Okay, let's take that one. If a pipe is oriented, because we can, I can orient a pipe like this also. No, here the liquid is made to enter V1 and V2 like this. Now look at the, let's take the ground as reference. At what height the point 1 is? At height h1. At what height the point 2? At height h2. The liquid is having, and we assume it to be incompressible. Can we write any equation? And it is exposed to air here. So what is the pressure? P naught. Here also it is exposed to air. Pressure is P naught. Oh, so sorry. The pressure at here, let it be P1. Let it be P2. I'll give area of cross section A1. Let this be A2. So first equation of continuity, A1 V1 equal to A2 V2. Then Bernoulli's theorem, P1 plus rho g H1 plus rho V1 square by 2, P2 plus rho g H2 plus rho V2 square by 2. I want the pressure difference. What pressure difference I should maintain across the pipe so that liquid at a height H2 will have a speed V2. Then this equation will become rho 2 H2 minus H1. Rho by 2 V2 square V1 square. So pressure difference across the ends, let it be delta P. The height, let it be this one. No. Can I replace V1? V1 I can write it as okay, there's an expression for this much of pressure difference, what speed you want the liquid to emerge out here. Okay, that you have to substitute. And there's a required pressure difference, that is a delta P. So with what speed the liquid should, say you may hold pipe horizontal, you may hold at some inclination. Okay, you may hold at some inclination. Then if you maintain this much of pressure difference, as the liquid will emerge out with a speed V2. There's a required speed. To have this much of speed, this much of pressure is needed. You see the problems are really very, very simple, that one. What is delta H? Delta H is the height difference. So the upper end and lower end at what height difference there. So that they can call as delta H. So what speed you want at this upper end? Okay, for that, keeping that in mind, you should maintain that pressure difference. I think that's what the engines will do, no? If you go for car wash, the liquid water pen, is it advisable to first wet the car, then again take some brush, cloth, clean all the mud, especially at the bottom of the car, no? At the beneath of the car. So lot of mud will be there, no? So is it advisable? It will take 2 hours. So what we have now, so we take help of this one by maintaining more pressure here, pressure difference. So what will happen to this? This V2 will be more. If water comes out with a high speed, definitely what happen, it will clean out all the mud that got stuck to the tires, rims, or at the bottom, like what we call that as a sheet, that one for the car, that everything open will be cleaned here. This called like a pressure cleaning, what we use. So for that high pressure is what I should develop here. So when you go for car wash or the vehicle wash, no, so we do use this method. So I want the water to come out with high speed. For that, what happens? The best thing is the pressure difference has to be increased here. You can control the pressure difference. That's what the equipment is. Do make observation. Don't sit there and open mobile and start watching movies or that all things. Hmm? Watch outside world. So much what all you learn is available. So this about say when one and two at same horizontal, one or two at different level. So you can take help of this condition. Okay, I agree this. So this is about the Bernoulli's theorem overall idea. So let's do one thing. How to measure the velocity of a river. I think this is something very important. Where do we use this fluid? Sir, what is use of measuring the velocity of river? Is it necessity? If you know what speed the river is flowing and you can roughly measure the amount of liquid also. Nowadays we have, because we know the diameter, depth of the width of the river and also the depth, no? And if you know speed, you can tell what amount of cusecs. Am I right? I think nowadays in the news, no, you can see 1 lakh cusecs inflow, 50 lakh cusecs outflow. Like this, will express in terms of cusec because large amount it is. We should not express in terms of liters the river flow. How do they measure the velocity of flowing water in a river? How do they measure? An instrument called a venturimeter. They just worked on based on Bernoulli's principle. There's a small narrow tube. The water here will rush. A1. So when it is flowing here, so what we notice is that the water, what happen in the vertical limb will rise to certain height and will come to rest. And by measuring that height h, we are able to tell with what speed the liquid is in motion. Okay, liquid. So what is it? The flowing liquid. I'm clearly saying here. What is the state? Liquid at rest. Okay, let's get into the calculation. So what we have, A1 V1 equal to A2 V2 from equation of continuity. A1 V1 equal to A2 V2. Then let me apply the Bernoulli's theorem. P1 plus U1 plus rho GH1. Now, what is the pressure at 1? That would be P1. U and kinetic energy there, rho V1 square, P2U. 1 and 2 are at same horizontal level. So definitely what do you expect? Potential will be same. So the pressure difference P1 minus P2 equal to rho by 2 V2 square minus V1 square. Will you agree this? This will be no. Let's use equation of continuity. V2 V1 is what I'll replace. So V1 I can write it as V2 square A2 V2 A1 square. So this will become P1 minus P2 rho by 2. What is the P1 P2? What is the pressure at 1? Okay, this 2 here, I'll write it. So it's a long tube, no? Okay, let it be like this here. So pressure at 1, well, let it be say like a exposed atmosphere P naught. What is the pressure at 2? The liquid at rest. So can we write P naught plus rho GH? Pressure at 1 is P naught because it is exposed to air here. Then what is the pressure at 2? P naught plus rho GH. Sir, like you are not considering this will be very small, negligible, because this height will be say some 40-30 centimeter. This will be of order diameter of pipe, no? This will be of order few centimeter or 0.5, 0.6 centimeter. So you can neglect this. Or if you want, you can write H directly from here. So now substitute this. So how much you'll get? P1 minus P2. What shall we write here? So what happened to pressure? So when the liquid moves from 1 to 2, the liquid moves from 1 to 2. Oh, sorry, like diagram. Just give us some diagram went wrong, no? Just give some time. I think, okay, I'll take it out everything. Venturi meter. Because energy is not conserved, no? The way I'm showing this. No, okay. So this is 2. This is 1. Here the liquid will have less speed. No, let this be the height h. Okay, liquid here. So I think everything is same. The only thing is now pressure is P1. P2 is P naught plus rho GH. So look at now V2. V2 will be less than V1. V2 will be less than V1. So I'm interested in V1. I have to make a lot of changes. V2 I should eliminate. No? Yeah. V1 square, V2 should be eliminated. No? So A1 V1, A2 should be eliminated. So A1 V1 by A2. Yeah, okay, fine. So this will be A1 this one. So here this will become V1. Okay, now you write pressure rate will be more than one. No? So we'll rewrite this one. V2 will be less than V1. So if I rewrite this, P2 minus P1 should be equal to rho by 2 A2 square A1 square by A1 square V1 square. No, P2 is how much due to this P naught plus rho GH. If you want, you can measure this H directly from here. It doesn't matter. And the pressure at this point is P naught exposed to atmosphere. So P2 minus P1, how much it should be equal to? Rho GH. So this will be rho by 2 A2 square A1 square by A1 square into V1 square. So what is V1 is equal to 2GH A1 square by A2 square minus A1 square. So can you measure H? As I know H, to what level the liquid will rise here? Fine. Then what happened? I'm able to measure the speed of the liquid. So like what actually it is, sir? Like okay, fine, you wrote Bernoulli, then what actually it is? Suppose if a river is flowing, I'll just tell you. A2 square, it should be, yeah. So everything fine here. So what we get is like how to use this. What is the use of that one? Suppose if a river is flowing here, please, I think in books they don't help to this extent. So just make observation. If a river is flowing, if there's a river is flowing, will I agree this? There's the surface of the river. So what I do is like the river is flowing with a velocity, say V1. I will dip this Venturi meter. Just I'll dip it here. Will I agree this? This will be best way of understanding this concept. So what is the meaning of this? Then the what happen? The liquid, this liquid will rise to certain height. Everywhere liquid is there. Huh? Everywhere liquid is there. Everywhere liquid. This equipment is dipped into the flowing river. Will come like this. So what I can do? I can measure this H. And with what speed the river was flowing here, with what speed the river is flowing, with the same speed it will enter. And the same liquid when it passes here will have some other speed. And if you check the V2 will be less than V1. Any reason for that from equation of continuity? because A2 greater than A1. So therefore V2 must be less than V1. So when the liquid moves from 1 to 2, which energy got decreased? Kinetic energy got decreased. The decrease in kinetic energy, what it got converted? Increase in pressure energy per unit volume. So therefore the liquid has to rise to certain height, the liquid column. So the liquid in the vertical limb will rise to certain height. So now I want to measure the liquid which is flowing in a river. So what shall I do? I should just immerse this equipment in a flowing river. What is this everything? Flowing river. So therefore, what I measure the speed V, this V will become equal to V1. So what is V? V is the velocity of river. So nice, no? It is the equipment you can see. So beautifully it was designed for us. Anybody know? Just you have to hold it and see in books what happened, we have equipment. How to use, we don't know. That's why we find very difficult. Okay, what actually it is, that one. There's a rough diagram. Just you have to hold it and dip into the liquid. So the river starts flowing here. I'll show like this. Huh? It'll be easy for you. Fine. Able to understand this is? So like this, can you measure H? I think you know A2, A1. We know area of cross sections of the tube. And you have to just note down the vertical height of the liquid in the limb or the liquid in the vertical limb. Substitute here, you'll get the speed. With what speed the river is flowing. So what actually the equipment? Equipment should be such that it should not disturb the river flow. So what is this equipment? I think you can hold in your hand this one. So if you just take equipment which you can hold in hand, can it disturb the river flow? No, it will not disturb. Okay, this is widely used here. Okay, these are just some small diagrams, no, which I'm helping you. Completed. So next we'll go for the next condition. And this is about the Venturi meter. Okay, next we'll take the velocity of Flex. Okay, there's a container. I'll fill up the container with the liquid. So let there be a small hole, very small hole. Huh? It is. Let H be the height of the container, and I'll fully fill up the container with a liquid of density rho. I'll put a hole. So if I open the hole, open the liquid will emerge with a speed. So with what speed the first molecule, the first layer of liquid emerges, that is called like a velocity of Flex. I think these are some 90% of numericals are related to this diagram. Huh? Not 1 to 90%, I'm telling. No, so the topic name is velocity of Flex. You have like this. Huh? So here there's a ground. The liquid water weapon will emerge with a speed V. This is also called as a jet. Okay, this is called like a velocity of Flex. The hole is made at a depth h. What is velocity of Flex? That V is called as velocity of Flex here. So here air is present. Here air is present. Okay, how to calculate velocity of flux? What do you mean by velocity of reflex? The moment you open hole, okay, that one, the first layer of liquid will emerge with a certain speed. So the velocity of the first layer of a liquid that is emerging from hole is called as velocity of efflux. Finish on nothing, don't bother anything, that one. So what do you mean by velocity of efflux? The first layer of liquid that emerges from the hole. The velocity of first layer. The velocity of first layer of liquid that emerges from the hole is called as velocity of efflux here. How to calculate that? V. And afterwards range, what is the time taken? All the quantities I want to find out that one. So let me call this a range. Now I'll apply the Bernoulli's theorem. So here I'm asking you to assume a tube. Actually, the tube should be here only to make you understand. So let this be the point 2. What is the point 2 on the wall? And the point 1 is just inside. Let me begin with the concept. Yeah. So this is the point 2. This is a point 1. So, here let's make it a little bit big. I'm just magnifying that one. So this is the point 2. This is a point 1. Here, what is the state of liquid at rest? No? And this liquid is in motion and it is exposed to air. Will I agree? And this is that hole, small hole. A small hole is made here. What is 2 hole is made? Everyone is able to understand this one? No, let's apply Bernoulli's theorem between 1 and 2. What is the state of this entire liquid at rest only? So let's apply Bernoulli's theorem between 1 and 2. What is the pressure at 1? P1. 1 and 2 are at same potential, same level. Okay, time being, let me write U1 plus K1 equal to P2 plus U2 plus K2. What is the pressure at 1? P0 plus rho GH. You move inside the liquid. P0 plus rho GH plus U. What is the state of liquid at 1? At rest, 0. Kanji. Pressure at 2. 2 is exposed to air, no? Will I agree? Everywhere here is air. So the moment you open hole, what happens? The layer of liquid which is at hole will be exposed to atmosphere. So therefore the pressure at 2 should be P0 U, and it will rush with a velocity V. So Kanji per unit volume, rho V square by 2. So everything will get cancel out. So V is equal to root of 2gh. So it is as if this layer of liquid will be falling from a height h. So is it really it has fallen from height h? No. The moment you open up the hole, the liquid at 2 open will rush with a speed root of 2gh as if it is descending from a height h. But actually what happened? It has not moved, just it was here. The moment you open hole, it will emerge with a speed v. This is the velocity of the first layer of liquid that we call velocity of efflux here. Okay, don't just fight with the word efflux. If you're finding very difficult to digest, no, just call the velocity of first layer of liquid the moment when you open hole. It is equal to how much? Root of 2gh. What will happen to this layer? It will traverse in air and it will strike the ground. So continuously, if the hole is kept open, continuously open, the liquid will come out, no? And we'll call that as a jet. See, these are very simple things. So like why do it will move? I think like you just take polythene bag, fill up water, take some needle, something, prick some hole, and then what will happen? The water starts coming out from here like this, no? And the continuous layer of water flowing, we call that as a jet. Is it okay? So rather than saying like a a, yeah, like continuous flow, volume of flow of water is there, no? We'll just call, we'll give a name, jet, that one. So now what is the range of jet? After what time the jet, what happened, what is the time taken by the jet to move from the ore to the ground? So we'll take this horizontal distance, we'll call this range. So what is the height descended by the jet? Capital H minus small h, and it was having only horizontal velocity. So what is the height descended? This one. So therefore next equation, h minus h is equal to g t square by 2. T equal to 0, it is here. After some time it will come and strike here. So what is t is equal to now? 2h minus h by g. Then what is the range, horizontal range of the jet? Velocity of flux into t. What is the velocity of flux? 2gh. So g get cancelled. So this will be root of 4. This is the expression for the range. Okay, now, so this, what you can do is 4. Okay, let's differentiate. Anything we'll get, we'll see. dr by dh is equal to 1 by 2 4h minus 4 into, will I agree this? This should be. Okay, now if I further simplify, 4h minus 8h by root of, so let me equate this 4. H is equal to h by 2. This value of small h, I'll substitute here this one. Then I'll get the range. So the maximum range will be, yeah, 4. H is how much? H by 2. H by 2. So finally, what is the maximum range? Will become h. So what is the maximum possible range of the jet? Will be equal to the height of the liquid in the container, and where that hole should be made at a depth h by 2. Then the range will be maximum. Are you able to get this one? So that will be the maximum range of the jet here. Okay, now let's explore this. So let's make a hole at various points. All of you, I think just you see once. From where we have started with Bernoulli's theorem. We have started with Bernoulli's theorem. So there we have put expression for what I got for maximum range of the jet on the horizontal surface equal to capital H, and where that hole should be made exactly at half of the height of the liquid column. So 10 meter is there. You make hole exactly at 5 meter, then you get the maximum range. Okay, let me explore this. Suppose if we have a container, let me make three set of holes. They're very small hole, not big hole, very small hole. Fully filled up. The range, the liquid. Total height. H by 2, H by 2, H by 4. This also I should indicate, no? Three H by 4. Let's get into this one. So now I'll open the holes. So what will be the time of flight and the range of the jet? So there are three holes are there. Hole 1, hole 2 and hole 3. The holes are located different depth and the liquid is filled up fully in the container. Okay, just now we had discussed for no. With that, we should analyze the condition. Get into, let rho be the density of the liquid. What about the range of the jet? So first V1 will use formulas. What is V1 is equal to? V1 is equal to root of 2g. What is the depth of this hole? H by 4. So how much it should be? Root of gh by 2. So will all three holes, will they have same velocity of reflex? The answer is different. No, the one which is having more depth, the hole which is located more depth will have more velocity of reflex. Will I agree this? Okay, come for this one. Now, what about the range? Let's calculate the range. For that, we should know the time of flight. So what is the height? What is the time taken by the jet to move from hole 1 to the ground? So what is the height it should descend? 3h by 4. By g. So then other will be simple calculations. All these things are not very big. 4g. So we'll agree. Time, what are this T1, T2? Time taken by the jet to move from hole to come and strike the ground. Let's go for the range, calculations of range. R1 is equal to the range of the first jet should be equal to speed into T1. So this is GH by 2.
Sir, it should be GT1 square by 2 now, sir.
Oh, the 2 is missing. 2G should be then. Okay, this will be H by G of GT square. Yeah, fine. T1 is how much? Root of 3H by 2G. G gets eliminated, so even H will come outside. 2 will come, so root 3 by root 3H by 2. V2 into T2. So velocity V2 is how much? Root of GH. T2 is root of H by G is equal to H. I think this already we know it. What is V3? V3 is root of 3GH by 2 H by 2G. Look at the range R1 and R3. They are same, no? The reason for that, because the holes are located symmetrically with respect to center of or the midpoint of the liquid. So these two will have first, this will have maximum range. Same liquid, liquid will not change color after passing through different holes. Oh, shit. I'll get back. Some. Everything is lost. Hmm. Again, we have to do the from beginning. I'll construct it. This is a tank. Okay, I think we'll write down. I'll write down very fast. So there's a whole one, whole two, and there's a whole three. the height of this hole, two G H by 4 is equal to GH by 2. The velocity of Flex of the third hole will be 2G 3H by 4. Okay, what about the range? First, we'll calculate the time of flight. 3H by 4 equal to G T1 square by 2. T1 will be equal to 3H by 2G. H by 2 equal to G T2 square by 2. Three H by 4, it will third jet H by 4 equal to G T3 square by 2. Let's calculate the range. Range should be equal to V1 into T1. T1 is 3H by 2G root 3H by 2. GH H by 3 is equal to maximum, that is R2. V3 is how much? 3G H by 2. Okay, these are the ranges. You look at the range of the jet 193, they are same. 2 will have maximum range on the ground, and the 192 both will have same range. Okay, fine. So now what is the conclusion we can make it? Those holes which are located symmetrically with respect to midpoint of the level of liquid, they will have same range. Will I agree this? I just wanted to have that conclusion. Look at all 1 and 3. Look at the all 1 and 3. They are located symmetrically with respect to the midpoint of the midpoint to that one. So therefore, they are going to have same range here. They will have different velocity of Flex. You look at the velocity of Flex. This will be how much velocity V1. They're having different velocity of Flex. But the range of 1 and 3 are same, and that of 2 is this much. Where R dash equal to R1 equal to R3. Okay, these are some very small data. Only say this comes only by analysis. Okay, let's locate the holes at different plates and let me see. So when we analyze, no, okay, we got a totally different condition. So what is the conclusion we can make it? Those holes which are located symmetrically with respect to midpoint of level of liquid, not midpoint of the height of the container. Midpoint of level of liquid. So definitely 2 is what happened with respect to 2, 1 and 3 are located symmetrically. So therefore they will have same range. Agree this one? This will be, so shall we conclude one data? The horizontal range of jets The horizontal range of jets provided by holes will be equal if the holes are located symmetrically with respect to midpoint of say like this. What happen? You'll get a sentence in exam. So students will think that something there's a concept. It's again a numerical. In physics, there's nothing called like a word concept. You better come out of that. There's nothing called like a where you have to read. Okay, and this one. You should analyze the different situations. When you analyze what happened, that one data will come or one conclusion will make it. That conclusion is what will be asked in exams. So definitely any question that comes in exam needs some diagram. At least maybe diagram is needed. Through diagram, what happened, you can analyze and you can have a nice firm conclusion. Without this explanation, if I write only this statement, how many of you will understand? Nothing, no? Nobody will have any idea. So what actually you'll be doing? You'll be just only accepting things or gathering information like a news reporter, like how a news reader will gather, no? Like that, what you'll be gathering the information, nothing big. Okay, fine. So now we'll go for the next case. The force exerted by the emerging liquid on the container. By this time, I'll be using very frequent word jet because that'll be much easier for us. The force exerted by jet on the container. So if you look at the container, let me take this diagram. No, the liquid is emerging out. So the emerging liquid, will it exert any force on the container? This particular layer of liquid will have I'm again introducing one very simple concept. Plenty of numericals will be related to this application. Conservation of linear momentum. You look at this particular layer of liquid. Let's not bother range other thing. Okay, this particular layer of liquid. So is it having any thing, that one? It's having velocity. So it is also having delta x. The moment I open up hole, this layer of liquid will emerge from the container. It will have density rho. It will emerge with a speed, no? And it's having a mass delta m. So shall I say that as good as this liquid is throwing certain object, go for conservation of linear momentum. If a person standing on a trolley, if he makes a jump, then what will happen to the trolley? Trolley will recoil back. The same thing should happen for this particular container. It is throwing out certain mass with a speed v. What is the mass? Delta m. So it should recoil, no? It should experience a force. So now how to calculate that force experienced by that? So I'll take help of this one. F thrust equal to U relative or V relative dm by dt. Will I agree this? With what speed it is projected? Container at rest. So then what is the velocity of ejected fluid? What is velocity of ejected fluid? Should be V. So this V relative is in fact is V because container at rest V. Then dm by dt. What is dm? Mass of that small element. That should be equal to, right, like this. So delta m, rho area of cross section of all. What is small a? Okay, dA, and this is delta x. V rho a will come outside. Delta x by delta t. So this should be again velocity of flex only. So what is f thrust now? Rho a b square. What is a? Area of cross section of all. There's a all. So in what direction the thrust force will act? Like this. So the whole container what will experience a thrust force, and in what direction that will act? That will act towards left. So if you leave this container like this, so what will happen to this emerging liquid? The jet will exert a force and the container starts moving backward. And the thrust force depends on what? At what depth the hole is located. You see this one. Because the V depends on what? V depends on H. No? Again, what is V? Velocity of flex, root of 2gh. Fine. There's a condition. So the thrust force will act here. Now, if it is kept on rough surface, if it is kept on rough surface, there'll be friction. Friction will act as there'll be friction will be acting. So like that, we'll get plenty of numericals now application oriented. So what is this? What we should call force, thrust force, exerted by jet on container. The emerging liquid will exert force, or shall I say change in momentum? Say what was the before opening hole, what was this layer? This layer was at rest. The moment you open hole, the liquid will emerge with a speed. The liquid will emerge with a speed. The emerging liquid what will acquire momentum. It was at rest, then it acquired momentum. So definitely there should be force. So Newton's laws of motion, action, reaction, equivalent, opposite. So therefore now the emerging liquid will exert a force on the container and that will act backward, opposite to velocity. Why thrust force should be opposite? Go back to the variable mass concept. Here, what will happen to total amount of liquid? Decreasing, no? If a mass of system decreases, in what direction the thrust force will act? The thrust force will act opposite to U relative variable mass concept. If the mass of system increases, so dm by dt, what it should be? It should be positive. But here mass dm by dt is negative. So in fact, I should bring negative sign. You'll get confused. Just I wanted only magnitude. So your task questions are why this is backward? Because the mass of the liquid in the container decreases with time. So therefore, the thrust force should act opposite to U relative. Sir, why you are writing U relative equal to V? Container at the moment you open hole, the liquid will emerge, no? So therefore, what is the velocity of the emerging liquid with respect to container? Will be V only. So that V relative has become V. Thin layer having a mass delta M, that we are substituting it. Okay, these are the some basics is what happened. Today what happened, we have just covered it. And they should not be whole here. No? Yeah. Okay, fine. This is, so what is the most important thing is like writing Bernoulli's equation. Writing this Bernoulli's equation, V equal to root of 2gh. I think the range is not there. Let me explain once again. V equal to this one. No? So let's go for range. What is the height it will descend? Let me cover it once again. It'll be easy for you. Gt square by 2. So what is the expression for range? Range is equal to V into T. Velocity of flex. So 2gh. So this expression for range will be 4, or write one step like this. This will become 4 capital H minus 4 H square. This will differentiate with respect to H. So this will be 1 by 2. So derivative of this will be 4H minus 8H. dr by dH, let it become equal to 0. So what is H is equal to? H by 2. So the jet will have maximum range when H is equal to, when OD is at a depth H by 2. So let me substitute this. R max is equal to, so finally, how much maximum range is equal to H. So what is the maximum possible range of a jet is equal to the height of the liquid column, total height of the liquid column in the container. And when that range will be maximum, when the hole is located exactly, or if the hole is located symmetrically with respect to height of the liquid column. Fine. So this is the expression for the maximum range of the jet. We'll write it here. Okay, I think later on we came for this, then this particular thing, force exerted by jet on a container. Any doubt if you have, you can clarify. Any doubt related to one important thing regarding doubts, no? Like you can post in that given timer. Some are posting at night 10 o'clock, some are 11 o'clock, and that too no name. See, like so many students sending, it's we are finding very difficult to search your that one. Almost you can see your class and senior other sections, no? 300 students. So searching 300 messages, and afterwards what happened? Suppose say somebody we see a doubt, then to send it back again what happened? We don't know, because like your parents' photo will be there or somebody's God's photo will be there, and have not seen your face also. Again, to send that message back also there was a big problem, because again in 300 messages we have to search. I'm writing down the number, everything. So communication is becoming very difficult. So you have allotted time, evening 5 to 6. In that time you send it, no, because then and there only I see messages, I'll come to know, okay, this particular group. Shall I post in your WhatsApp group? I think there'll be a better idea, no? So that anybody has asked a doubt related to that particular thing. Because searching your name again in the list of 300 students, it's very difficult. Because your number 300 members, I have to search 300 numbers. Your number will be somewhere. I'm writing down your number. Okay, to this number, okay, this was a doubt, I have to send it. So that is taking like time. So I'll post in the WhatsApp group itself any doubt you have asked. So that what happened, I think you know that which doubt you have asked. Okay, that related thing will come. That I'll do it. And please ask in that specific time only. Or if you want any other time you suggest, in that time I'll respond. Because see, what happens is like a pen and notebook is there. No, I can't carry pen and notebook all the time. So if you say 5 to 6, if you are at 5 to 6, yes, I'll sit. What all doubts come, I can send it. Someone sending it 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock, no problem. No problem. But in the meanwhile, what will happen? So many doubts are coming at different times and we are losing them. Or if you want in Zoom, I'll explain. But you'll be wasting your 1 hour time by being in Zoom, because for 1 hour you have to wait in a Zoom, everything. Or you do one thing, in 5 to 6, what happen? You can just send the question, and if you're not understanding, even if I'm sending no, you can call me. There'll be a better idea. 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. is counseling hour. No, post your questions. That one I'll send that. If you're not understanding, you can make a call. So like what method you applied it. Or I'll do one thing. I'll send a voice message along with that explanation. What method that is applied. See that one. So if you put some limitation, no, like a 5 to 6 or within that limit, if you send it out, no, it'll be much easier. Or else question, you have to send your name, section. Okay, at least I'll respond it. I'll post in your WhatsApp group. I don't know, yesterday, 2 days back, somebody has sent, it has gone to seniors. So I don't know to whom I replied it now, finally. The number searching is becoming very difficult. 300 are there. Now my relatives, altogether 600 numbers, searching your number and posting your doubt is becoming problem. I'll send it to your concerned WhatsApp group. Okay, please do clarify within that 5 to 6. Some are asking solved example. I think this is something, at least what you do is you can make a call, no. So like, how do I can explain the solved example? So any step which you could not explain, okay, you can make a call. So like how this step has come, I'll explain it. So I feel like talking to teacher will be much easier than just only gathering the solution. Please change your habit. 5 to 6 will meet today. You can interact with me personally. 5 to 6, you can call me. Video call or voice call, it's left to you, whatever you are convenient. Okay, fine. We'll meet tomorrow. Evening 5 to 6 we'll meet it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you all of you. Take care. Bye. See you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.